7. Barrett outside, the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a great step! And then he hammers it home! Broke his ankles!
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all is well, and before we officially get into the video, if you enjoy the New York Knicks, be sure to click that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this channel as much as possible, because if I could even come close to talking about the New York Knicks for like my life, and I could somehow like have a living off of it, it would be extremely tough, but that's just an ultimate dream scenario and be absolutely amazing. So if you love the New York Knicks, be free to click that subscribe button. I love the Knicks. I bring you guys updates. I bring you guys my thoughts, analysis, and smash the like button if you end up enjoying this video. And if you know anyone that's a Knicks fan, make sure you share out the channel, because this is definitely the channel for them. So thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate your support, or welcome if you are new. So I'm going to be talking about the New York Knicks schedule that actually went on to release at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and it's an interesting schedule for sure. And I feel like, because a lot of Knicks fans are going to be like, or some NBA fans in general are going to look at the Knicks schedule and be like, damn, that's a tough stretch of games. Why did they do the Knicks dirty like that? But in my opinion, the NBA has just flat out gone better. All 30 NBA teams, they have future stars, or they have very good, young, talented players. Like the Pistons, for example. Pistons aren't going to be good, but they're going to be competitive. They're going to learn how to win games. But they have the number 1 overall pick of Cade Cunningham from a couple years ago, and they're probably going to be very good in a few years, or going to be competing for the playoffs or in the playoffs in a few years. The Orlando Magic, they're probably not going to be good, but the number 1 overall pick of Paolo Banchero. Like, there's just so much talent in the league, it's unbelievable. Like the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're not going to be very good, but you can't overshadow Shea. Like, you never know what's going to happen in the league. There's so many upsets all the time when it comes to an 82-game season, and also injuries, team chemistry, locker room issues, coaches being fired. Just so much goes on in sports when it comes to just tons of things like chemistry, because at the end of the day, you can have all the talent in the world, but you also have to be on the right page. You have to be played throughout your strengths. You got to have chemistry as well. So when I take a look at this Knicks schedule right here, we actually have 13 nationally televised games. I do like seeing that for sure, even though I watched it on my legal websites anyway, because I do not have MSG Go. I'm not really linked to that since I live in New Jersey. And then you also take a look at it, we have 12 back-to-backs as well. So we have 12 like sets of back-to-back games, and 8 of them are actually on the road. So there's going to be some adversity there. And I do think the Knicks have a pretty mentally tough group, but like, we won't know how good the Knicks are until they step foot on the court. Like, I can make these predictions, like I'll say my win total at the end of this video, but I could like make a prediction. But I'm the same guy a couple years ago that when we had Tom Thibodeau his first year, RJ Barrett's second year in the league, I said we're going to be one of the worst teams in basketball, and we ended up being the 4th seed, and Randall had this unbelievable year, and RJ Barrett really improves as a three-point shooter. He played his role very well. He's a very good defensive player. Like, we know that season was freaking amazing a couple years ago. Yes, we lost in the first round, but I was just flat out wrong. You never know what's going to go on to happen. RJ could take a huge leap. Jalen Brunson could be better than people think. Maybe he's not just solid. He plays at an all-star level. He's not named an all-star maybe, but he plays at an all-star level. So you never know. But I like the back-to-back games because I just absolutely love the New York Knicks. But you see, our first game of the season is versus the Memphis Grizzlies, and we're actually on the road for this game, and Jaren Jackson Jr. went on to have surgery, so Jaren Jackson Jr. is not going to be playing in this game. But the Grizzlies are a very respected team, though, no doubt about it. They're a team that went to the playoffs, got out of the first round, defeating the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves fought pretty hard in that series. Patrick Beverley, Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, etc. But you look at this Grizzlies team, coached by Taylor Jenkins. They have Dillon Brooks, they have Desmond Bane, they have Steven Adams, they have gritty players, and obviously they have Ja Morant, who's a freaking stud, athletically and gets to the hoop at will. His handle's insane, his hesitation moves. So it's going to be a very tough game, and I think it's possible we can win this game if everything breaks right. Because I feel like there's less chemistry to be built with that Grizzlies squad compared to our squad in a way, because the point guard position is so important, and Randall, how will he be when it comes to his basketball IQ and adjusting to playing with a Brunson? Will there be adjustments within the offense? Do we play differently? But I do think it's possible we win this game, even though we're on the road, because Jaren Jackson Jr. is just such a huge part of stretching the floor, even though I don't think he does it as consistent as I would want him to. But he's still a very good defensive player, could put the ball on the floor. And I definitely do think it is possible we go on to beat the Memphis Grizzlies, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go on to beat us. And then our home opener, Jalen Brunson's debut at the Garden, Grew up a Knicks fan. It's going to be a special place in his heart for sure. We're taking on the Detroit Pistons, and the Pistons, I don't think they're going to be good. They may win like 28, 29 games, their ceiling maybe 33, 34 games, but they have Cade Cunningham, they have Sadiq Bey, they have Isaiah Stewart over there, they went on a drafted Jaden Ivey. They have very solid young pieces. They're just figuring out how to win, and I feel like they're going to get better when the season goes on. But you never know. Cade Cunningham, he could put a team on his back like his second year and just grow tremendously when it comes to physicality-wise. I've noticed he's gotten stronger. He's a smart player. He's very mature. And you never know with these NBA teams, especially when you have a number one overall pick that like you hope is your franchise player and a superstar. What if he just skyrockets and somehow is a superstar like year two? But I do think realistically we can beat Detroit. Then we take on the Orlando Magic. I like what they're building. I thought they made the right decision of blowing it up because they're kind of stuck in the middle of the pack. I like Franz Wagner. I like Banchero. Suggs, I still think he's going to grow and develop. Wendell Carter Jr., I like the Orlando Magic squad for sure, but it's a capable game that we can win because they're still adjusting and learning how to win games, even though I think they're going to be very good in the future. And then we take on Charlotte, who has talent. They have Terry Rozier, they have LaMelo Ball, they have Kelly Oubre, but they lost Miles Bridges. We're not even going to get into that whole situation. So Charlotte's a team that can kind of fall down the standings a bit. So the Knicks have a chance to get off to a pretty solid start. If we beat Memphis, we beat Detroit, we beat Orlando, and then maybe we beat Charlotte. So I actually do think we're in the position to start off strong, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And then when you take a look, though, where it gets hard, and again, the NBA is getting better, but this stretch of games just hurts. The talent in this league is just unbelievable that you never know what's going to go on to happen with upsets because the New York Knicks build so much momentum when it comes to Madison Square Garden. We see like several upsets, even when the Knicks are bad. When we won 17 games, Kevin Knox's rookie year, we beat the Milwaukee Bucks, which was absolutely unbelievable, and they were one of the best teams in basketball. So at the end of January, we take on Atlanta, which is going to be tough, even though we don't really have a problem with them in the regular season. But obviously playoff time, it's a lot different. But they added DeJounte Murray. We'll see how the chemistry is there. Better to added some defense alongside Trae Young. But no doubt about it, at home, on the road, Atlanta's going to be tough no matter what. We're taking on Toronto next. That's going to be a very tough assignment. They're one of the most well-disciplined teams in the league, even though they have young pieces. I really like Scotty Barnes. I like OG Anunoby. I think Siakam's underrated. That's just my opinion. Very good coach of Nick Nurse, who's not afraid of trying things and making adjustments. Then we take on Cleveland, one of the best young teams in the league. We take on Boston, a team that was just in the NBA Finals. Are they going to start off sluggish, or are they going to be motivated? We take on Brooklyn. Brooklyn could suck, but they're still going to be competitive with Kyrie. And if KD comes back, I'm sorry, I just don't see us beating Kevin Durant. I don't see anyone on this team that can match the intensity of going back and forth, scoring the ball consistently against a Kevin Durant. That's no knock against anyone on this team. Kevin Durant's just unbelievable. And then we take on the Lakers, which LeBron James, but I'm not in love with their roster, so I wouldn't be surprised if we win. But February, Miami, Clippers, Sixers, Magic, that's possible we win that, but maybe they get revenge because we lost to them twice last year. Was it 2 or 3 times? It was embarrassing last year. Again, I'm not taking any shots at the Orlando Magic, but then we take on the Philadelphia 76ers. We take on the Utah Jazz. Even if they keep Donovan Mitchell, I think there's a shot we beat that team. But then we play the Brooklyn Nets, then we play Atlanta again, and then All-Star break, we come back, take on the Washington Wizards. And by the way, the Wizards, the Hornets, those teams right there, those are the teams you're going to have to consistently beat out when it comes to standings and in general if you want to be in that playoff race. And you're going to have to beat Atlanta a couple times as well because they're going to be in that hunt for the plan or in the playoffs. But we come back from All-Star break, take on Washington, take on New Orleans, which I think is going to be much improved. Willie Green, second year when it comes to this New Orleans team. Zion, hopefully he's healthy during this time. You got McCollum, you got Ingram, you got Herb Jones. Dyson Daniels, I'm not sure how much playing time he's going to end up getting as a rookie, but I like Trey Murphy. I like Alvarado. They have some nice pieces over there. Boston Celtics. And then March. When you look at March, Brooklyn, Miami, Boston, Charlotte. Again, Charlotte, I'm wishy-washy with them. The Kings are going to be more fun to watch, but how is it going to result in winning basketball? You got the Clippers, you got the Lakers, Trailblazers, they added Jeremy Grant, Denver. And this is the thing. Denver, if I get this correct, it's 2005 or 2006, the last time we beat Denver at the Pepsi Center. I'm not even joking. Look it up. I'll put it on the screen as well. We take on Minnesota. They added Rudy Gobert. House is stretching the floor of Cat. Going to compliment Rudy Gobert. You got Miami, you got Orlando, you got Houston, you got Miami and Cleveland. But again, you never know. When we play these teams, injuries may have occurred. I'm not wishing injuries upon anyone, but I feel like we've always been stuck in that position where you look at a schedule before, I'm like, damn, that's a tough schedule, but then injuries go on to happen. So it's not as tough, and the Knicks maybe play better than we actually think. But like I said, you never know. RJ Barrett could break out, and we end up being a lot better than, like, I initially thought we were going to be. Like, that's just my opinion. But the Suns are a team we still have to prove to beat, and the Suns are obviously much better, but that's a team that has also owned us as well. Even some of the worst teams in basketball find ways to beat the best teams in basketball if they're hot or something like that. But, like, that tough stretch of games, but when I overlook the schedule, I think our ceiling is 43 wins, and the Atlanta Hawks went on to win 43 games last year, and they were the 8th seed. So we're going to be in the play-in. That's my opinion. We're going to be competitive. We're going to be better than last year. I think we're going to do a better job closing out games personally. I think we're going to play with more heart, though. So the Atlanta Hawks got the 8th seed last year. We're going to have to beat out Charlotte. We're going to have to beat out Washington. Cleveland, maybe. I think Cleveland may be better, but they're still a young team as well. Atlanta, I'm interested to see how they're going to look, but let me know down below your thoughts on the New York Knicks schedule. Do you think we're going to go to the playoffs? Do you think we're going to be in the play-in, losing the play-in? I really appreciate your support, guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Peace out, y'all.